Hello and welcome back to Lord Dynamic Plays Baldur's Gate 3. I'm your host Lord Fen. In this Baldur's Gate 3 build video, we're building up the Fire Arcane Archer and Ranger Gloomstalker build. Yeah, all in the one. As always, everyone like, comment, and subscribe my channel for more Baldur's Gate 3 builds like this. Do not forget to hit that notification bell so be updated and much more. Here are the pros and cons of this build. Your range attack is going to be a lot of damage. Yeah, thanks to dual wielding hand crossbows. Number one. Now, number two, your arcane archer shots. They're going to be very helpful for this build. Now, another advantage is because you're a Gloomstalker. Yeah, you're always going to attack that first round, and that first round will help you much more faster to get a key to victory. Another thing is your mobility will be great as well too. So this way you move when you need to move. Now, con of this build goes as follow. You're never going to be powerful as a pure Gloomstalker, nor never powerful as a pure AA. You have to split your levels into both of those. That's about it for pros and cons of this build. We're going to go ahead and begin at this very moment. Character creation. Now, before we do go on the races, I'm going to go over the origin. So, custom origin, yeah, that's a great one, obviously, because you get to change any characters. Now, for your origin characters, Astarion, perfect for this. Give him a little bit more fire levels. As for Lae'zel, you'll give her more ranger levels, which is nice. Dark Urge is great for this as well, too, if you want to do the dark side or resist temptation. Very good add-on to the story. So for now, I'm going to pick custom character for the origin, as if you're either playing for the first time or playing other playthroughs and such like that. So let me go ahead and switch. And let's go ahead and, of course, start the races officially. Now, let's go over the elves first, so let's talk about that. Now, for elves, they got 9 meters they move per turn, which is very good. Now, second, elves use... let's see here. Long bows, long swords, and short swords. So they're proficient in that. Even if they pick a race that I should say more like class they're not proficient in, but they are now because of those weapons. Dark vision, they can see up to 12 meters in the dark. So yeah, you could go in deep dark places. They'll be fine. Now this one here, I'll give you advantages on saving throws against being charmed and cannot be magically put to sleep. You can still take that potion that'll put you to sleep, and it's like a full rest type of potion. So those are the key features of the elf race. So let's go over the two. High elves will give you a free level 0 spell. These are off on intelligence, so that's a warning on that, but it's good to have. I always like the blade barrier one. That's always nice. Now wood elves, they gain 1.5 meters when they move. So instead of the normal 9 meters, now they move 10.5 meters. So that's the thing right there. Let's go over to the next race, tieflings. Now their movement speed is 9 meters per turn, so that's good. They get to see 12 meters in the dark, just like the elves. And this one I absolutely do love is you have resistance to fire damage because you're a tiefling, and you only take half the damage when you get hit with it. Good stuff. There's a lot of foes in the game that loves to use fire. Just trust me. There's even one whole boss fight all about that. Zariel tieflings, they gain some smites, and they gain this, which is good against for intimidation checks and such. Next up are the drows. Alright, let's go over those. The drow is actually a very good race for it. They get low 0 spells, they get some nice spells, they even get the darkness spell. Oh yeah, just like the other Dungeons and Dragons video games you play. Yeah, darkness is a pain. It can be a pain for your foes too. Their movement speed is 9 meters per turn. Now they use, let's see, type of weapon they're proficient is rapiers, short swords, and hand crossbows. Remember the hand crossbows. They're very nice for this build. So if you couldn't use it as a drow, you can use it now. So let's see here. Superior dark vision, they can see up to 24 meters in the dark. And let's go ahead and do this. Now this one, there's same resistance as the elves. You have a saving throw advantage against being charmed, cannot be magically put to sleep. That potion used that puts you to sleep, that is like a full rest. Yeah, that's still there though. Now this one's just for RPG flavor. Loth Sworn. So if you're into the Spire Goddess Loth, then yeah, pick this one. If you want to resist the Spire Goddess Loth and her members, her cult or conjugate, well, guess what? Pick this one. Either way, there'll be some little bit dialogue changes and stuff, so it's just there for RPG flavor. Now let's go over to humans. They get to move 9 meters per turn, so that is always good. Now they get to use these type of weapons and armor: spears, pikes, halberds, and glaives. They can also use as light armor and shields. Even if their classes don't use it, well, you get to use it now. Now, human versatility, they could carry a quarter more, and they get 1 extra skill point. That is very useful, especially for builds like this. So let's go ahead and change this around and show you. See, there's normally you get 2 skills in the background and 2 you get to pick. Now, because as a human, you get a 3rd one you get to pick as well, so you get to go wild with that. Now, Githyanki, this is an underdog race, but this is actually a good race if you look deep into it. Astral knowledge, gain proficiency of all skills of a chosen ability. Really useful stuff. Easier pick locks, easier in combat, you name it. They get some nice level 0 spells and other spells. They get mage hands, easy to pull things down, to Misty Step to teleport around. Great for this build. Base racial speed is 9 meters per turn for their movement. And they could use the following: light and medium armor, short swords, long swords, and great swords. So even if you're a sorcerer, a wizard, or a cleric, you get to use those weapons and armor. Let's go over to the dwarves next. That is 7.5 movements, I say meters per turn. A little bit less than tall races, but that's alright. Now they get to use his battle axes, hand axes, light hammer, and war hammers. Basically one-handed hammers and axes they're proficient in. They can see up to 12 meters in the dark. Yeah, they've been mining those mines and doing other things as well too. They have a resistance against poison, and if they do get poison, they have a resistance against poison damage. In other words, they take less poison damage, which is very good early on. Some folks would like to poison you. Gold dwarves, they get 1 hit point starting out, and then 1 hit point each level, so that's a total of 12 free hit points they get, since 12 is the level cap for this game. Now, gray dwarves, they have 24 meters they can see in the dark, just like your drow cousins, which is nice. Now, another thing that these gray dwarves can do as well too, with advantages on saving throws against illusions and also against being charmed or paralyzed. For this build, really useful. Also, if I remember right, they have an invisibility spell later on too. Very useful race, and I just got into them just for giggles. Half elves, let's go with that next. They get 9 meters per turn for their movement, so that is good there. Now they get the human proficiency in weapons, which is let's see here: light armor, shields, spears, pikes, halberds, and glaives. I kind of wish they get the skill one, but beggars cannot be choosers. They get their elven side, which they see 12 meters in the dark up to, which is good. Now they have the same thing as their elven side, which is advantage on saving throws against being charmed, cannot be magically put to sleep. So if you go high elf half, then you get to pick a level 0 spell. That's very good. Blade Barrier is always nice. Another one is wood half elf. They get 1.5 movement speed advantage, so instead of 9 meters per turn, they move 10.5, just like their wood elf parents. And as for drow half elf, they gain his level 0 spells. So, what is in store for this build? Well, you're going to be using range weapons quite a bit. You're just only going to be using melee weapons just as stat boosts and such as well too. We're going to start off as the fighter, which by the way, the first thing they get is a second wind, which they heal 2 to 11 hit points. I think it's once per short or long rest. So it'll be 5 levels fire, then 4 levels ranger with the Gloomstalker choice we're picking, and back to the rest of the levels, which is 3 more levels fighter. We're going to pick archery because that's going to be our number 1 thing there for a fighter. So we get +2 bonus to ranged weapon attack rolls, which is good. Now, next up is backgrounds. There's quite a few you get to choose from. You get to choose Charlatan if you want to for deception, sleight of hands checks. Yeah, we're going some roguish stuff there. Same thing with criminal for the other ones, and urchin. So it dips into those skills, or soldier is good enough. I'm going to pick one of the ones. Now let's go over the ability scores. So our first focus is dexterity, we'll raise that up. Our secondary focus is intelligence. Due to the fact that, yes, many of the arcane archers' abilities are based off of intelligence. So we're going to keep strength at 10. Yeah, it sounds weird for a fire, but we're range fighters. Dexterity 16, that's going to be boosting our range damage. Also, armor class and such like that too. Constitution 14 give us a little bit of hit point boost and any Constitution saving throws. Intelligence we get at 16 due to the fact that, yeah, this is going to help us out for Arcane Archer abilities and such, or say more like shots. Yeah, they're intelligent based, so that's why we're picking it. Otherwise, I would put Constitution definitely up there at 16. Wisdom 10 for some of the story checks will be average on that. And Charisma at 8, it's a dump stat for this build. So review is Strength and Wisdom at 10, Dexterity 16, Constitution 14, Intelligence 16. We're focused on Dexterity to 20, then Intelligence 18. All right, everyone, for the skills, I'm going to go ahead and pick Acrobatics. And I'm going to, let's see here. Yeah, I'll do Athletics and Acrobatics most likely. You could pick any one of the ones. I did Acrobatics. That's probably a number 1 choice is that. Number 2, you could pick Athletics. You could pick Insight. That's another good one as well, too. You know, I mean, check around your surroundings and such like that. Up to you, but Acrobatics is a must. And that's about it for character creation. It is now time to level up from level 2 to 12 with this build. So let's go ahead and get to level 2. We'll become fighters there. So we'll start off with that for 5 levels. Action Surge, immediately gain an extra action to use in combat. Now, this is once per short rest, but it is very useful. Ding, level 3. Yeah, I was going to say that. Now, we're going to choose our subclass, which is, by the way, the Arcane Archer. So this will give us resources to use Arcane Shots. Arcane Shots are limited numbers, but it is very good. We get a level 0 spell. I always like Guidance. That's the best way to go. Gives you 1d4 bonus to ability checks, like picking locks and dialogue, which is good. Now, we're going to pick Arcane Shots. I'm going to go over many of them. Banishing Arrow, this will do is banish a target to another plane for 2 rounds. This is like a crowd control arrow. You're having issues with a foe, banish them in combat for 2 rounds, take out the rest, and when that foe is back, if they don't resist, well, there you go. Another one I'm going to go ahead and go over is Arcane Shot. This is like an AoE explosion shot, goes boom. So, yeah, explodes up on when it hits a foe and everybody around it. This one is Beguiling Shot. This does is charms foes. They take 2 to 12 psychotic damage. Now, all these shots will ramp up, and if you miss Arcane Shot, it doesn't consume your Arcane Shot numbers. Enfeebling Arrow, this will weaken your foes, especially useful against strong enemies that like to hit you with a 2-handed weapon. Gasping Arrow, this will slow their movement speed down. This is another decent one as well, too, for 10 turns. This one is Arcane Shot Seeking Arrow. This shot will never miss, so it'll hit a single target. It also applies Fairy Fire, which will, if they're rogues, they'll be light up like a Christmas tree. Say, hey, there's a rogue, go kill it. Shadow Arrow, this will blind your foes, which is a very good arrow. So if you need to blind certain enemies, that's the way to go. Piercing Shot, this will do extra piercing damage in a line. This is like actually helpful if you want to line up foes and just shoot them through like that real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and pick as Seeking Arrow, the explosion ones, and the banishing ones. Ding, level 4. So every level 4's in a class, you get yourself ability scores to pick. There's a few exceptions. I'll explain about that later on. I'm going to go ahead and pick Sharpshooter. So you get -5 on your attack rolls, plus 10 on damage. Don't worry about the attack rolls. There's items and abilities that will negate some of that. But for now, you'll miss a little bit more often slightly, but you do a little bit more damage. That should change off. Now, here's a good one why I picked Sharpshooter as well, too. Normally, you suffer high ground rules. Well, guess what? Now you get low ground. That means you don't have to suffer the high ground rules. So if you attack a foe from below, yeah, you usually get a penalty. Well, not anymore. So you always want to have the high ground anyways. Ding, level 5. This was last time for a while as a fighter, but don't worry. You could change out your Arcane Shots. If you don't like a certain one, then go ahead and do so. Now, this one is extra attack. This will give you, at level 5, 2 attacks with any type of weapons or unarmored attacks per round. That is some really useful stuff, everyone. So that's about it for this level. Ding, level 6. Unless you're not playing the latest version or you're playing the original version of Baldur's Gate 3 without the patches, if you're on story difficulty, you cannot multi-class, aka some people call it cross-classing. So for this build, we're going to go ahead and multi-class. We're going to multi-class into a ranger. So we get, of course, we're going to go ahead and pick this bounty hunter. This does is if we're doing an ensnaring spell, yeah, we're about to get, we get our foes get a disadvantage on their saving throws, and we're proficient in investigations and such, which is good. Now for Natural Explorer, I'm going to go Urban Tracker. This will give us proficiency in sleight of hands. So this will be very useful for us to break in the locks and such. Yeah, it'll give us a little bit of lock picking. And we can pick our abilities. I'm going to go ahead and stay a little bit roguish for now because I felt like that's good with stealth. We'll get a little bit boost there. So we're going to become a ranger for a while until after level 9. Ding, level 7. So we get ourselves a level 1 spell. Ranger spells, what they are is if you pick them, you have to level up in order to change them. They're not like clerics and druids, unfortunately, and paladins. So ensnaring strike, your attack in theory will ensnare your foes, but let's go over the rest first. Ammo friendship, this will make a beast not attack you. I'm going to go ahead and say you really finish off beasts real quick, and they're only some of them in Act 1 and 2. They get less and less as you go on. Cure wounds, just like the spell itself, you'll heal a target nearby for 1 to 8 hit points of damage. And that one I'll explain. Ensnaring shot, it does of course 7 to 22. It could hold your target in a place. And now we have that one ranger thing, and it'll help us out big time. Fog cloud, this will blind your foes, obstruct their view as well too. So this is actually great against melee foes with a two-handed weapon. Good berry, you get 4 berries. That'll heal 1 to 4 hit points. They last until long rest, but if you need something healing, that's alright, but there's better spells out there. Hail of Thorns, AoE spell. It does this 8 to 32 damage when 1 arrow hits, and then an AoE damage will happen. Now, your foes can resist the AoE damage. They'll take half only. Hunter's Mark is a marker creature. This way will do additional weapon type of damage, blunt, piercing, and slashing. Now, if your foe dies before the spell expires, then you get to cast it on another foe again. This is great against bosses. In fact, I would definitely advise to use it. Enhanced Leap, make you leap farther and jump higher, just like the Potion of Vaulting. I pass on that. Now, you don't want to do 1 of the 2. Suggest this is a good one. Long Strider. This will give you 3 extra meters to move per round, which is good. And speak with animals. You have ability to speak with animals and talk to them. I'm going to be blunt. There's potions out there that allow you to do that. So I do Hunter's Mark and Ensnaring Shot. And since we get to pick a fighting style, I'm going to go ahead and do a 2-weapon fighting style. You're saying why is that, Fenton? Well, we have a weapon in each hand. I could have did defense, but as long as we're wearing armor, but I'm just going to go with this one. I felt like that's better. Because we're going to be attacking each hand with a hand crossbow. So 2-weapon fighting or defense, it's up to you on that. So let's keep on going. Ding, level 8. So here's the deal, everyone. We get to pick our ranger subclass. There's one we're going to go ahead and pick. Before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and pick this one. Hail of Thorns. That's a good one to use. So we're going to pick his Gloomstalker. Yeah, so let's go over that. Dread Ambusher for first round. You get to attack with extra damage. Your movement speed increases and you gain +3 bonus to initiative. So more likely you go first. Very deadly ability. Abuse it every time you get into combat. I have builds that uses this and wins the day. Superior dark vision, can see up to 24 meters in the dark. So this is very nice. Dread Ambusher hide. That means you could hide while you're in combat, as long as you don't attack or cast a spell. That's good. Umbral Shroud is just like the visibility spell. It lasts for 10 turns. It's just like the visibility spell. If you move around such, that's not good. And Disguise Self, this does is will disguise your character in another race or something like that if you need to do that. You can change out your spells if you want to. Ding, level 9. This is the last time as the ranger class. We're only taking 4 levels in that. So every level is a 4 in a class. We get ourselves a free feat. So there you go. And we'll go ahead and pick our feat. We'll do his ability improvement +2 dexterity. So we're going to put all of our points in dexterity first. This is the last time to change your ranger spells. Do it now. Otherwise, you're going to have to respec and do it all over again. So we're going to go ahead and put 18 Dex, and that's about it. Ding, level 10. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the fire class. Let's go ahead and switch that back. Select the fire icon, and there you go. We're 6th level fire now. We get to change our arcane shots if we want to. And now we get another feat since our fire level 6. Yeah, fire gets extra feat. So we're going to put that in the dexterity. So put your points in the dexterity, everyone. We're going to max that out right away. So let's go ahead and do just that. Ding, level 11. I always say ding because it reminds me of EverQuest. Get used to it. So we get our extra arcane arrow usage. So that increases by a few. Magic arrow, all your range attacks are considered magical properties, so it'll overcome some resistance. Like, for example, you can't use mundane against certain foes. Well, with this, you use your mundane weapon as that against those foes. Curving shot, when you miss a shot, it'll curve when you use it. It'll hit another foe with the same attack that's the closest. So you miss one foe, you're going to hit another one if you want to. It's like a reaction. I'm going to go ahead and pick one more. I feel like this is a good one. The piercing shot, that's my absolute favorite. The other ones are good as well if you want to select those. So there you have it. Now we're at level 12. So this is it here. And we get ourselves another feat because every level's a 4 in a class, we get a feat. Last time, change your arcane shots. Do it. So I was about to do is, where's it at? Savage attack, however, that's with melee weapons, not range, so that's out. Instead, I'm gonna go ahead and wait, I could do alert. That's one thing to do, so you don't be surprised. I'm using potions for that. Instead, I'm gonna boost 2 points in intelligence. So boost 2 points in intelligence, or if you don't feel like doing that, go ahead and hit the alert feat. This way, you don't be surprised. You get +5 initiative. Up to you on either one of those. Either way, they're both good. And that's about it for leveling up from 2 to 12. Next up is permanent ability score boosts. Let's go over that. In Baldur's Gate 3, there are ways to permanently boost your ability scores. So there's one in each act. I'm going to go over each of them. In Act 1, if you spare Auntie Ethel, you get a +1 ability score item to use of your choice. Now, avoid your paladin doing this because he or she might be an Oathbreaker unless you're doing that on purpose. Then go for it. Act 2 with Astarion, have him buy Aja, that is the potion / jewelry / a whole bunch of good magical items NPC in Moonrise Towers. Astarion must be alive, you get a +2 strength potion. Now for this build, I'm not going to go over it greatly due to the fact that that +2 strength potion should be used on someone else in your party, like for example your barbarian or your fighter. Now another one is the mirror loss. Yeah, now there's 3 choices. First one is +1 charisma and a +2 stat of your choice. You lose a stat, but we'll go into that greater detail. Second choice, +2 stat of your choice. If you decide to mess with the mirror, or fail your intelligence save throws, you get nothing, not a zilch. As for the strength potion, they're good for your paladins as well too. I'm gonna go over the mirror loss and tell you on how that works. In Act 3, at the mirror loss in the House of Grief, you have to pass 2 intelligent checks. Once you do, then you get your 6 choices. Now, when you lose something, you get your 7th. Do not pick the 7th one. Char will know. Now, for 1, that gives you strength. Lose strength depending on what you're picking. Number 2, that is dexterity. Number 3 is constitution. Number 4 is intelligence. Number 5 is wisdom. And number 6 is charisma. Now, here's the deal. For your gains, always pick dexterity for this build, no matter what. That's important. Now, for your losses, you could lose constitution, intelligence, but here's the deal. After you use the mirror shard, yeah, I'm looking around. Okay, good. Once you use that, it's all done. You can use remove curse and get rid of the negatives. You keep the positives permanently. Now, those positives will be up to 24. So if you get, for example, another +2 points in dexterity, that is beyond 20. It'll stop at 24, but with this build, you'll have 22 dexterity total, which is very good. Now I'm going to go over the before and afters. Here are your before and after permanent stat boosts or ability score boosts. Now before, you have 10 strength, 20 dexterity. That is if you're level 12, didn't use any items yet or anything else, or use the mirror loss. 14 constitution, intelligence 18, wisdom 10, and charisma 8. Yeah, intelligence goes off of some of your shots. Here's your after: Strength 10, Dexterity 22, Constitution 14, Intelligence 18, 19 if you spare Auntie Ethel, so I usually get the Intelligence item. If you didn't want to go for Dexterity, Wisdom 10, and Charisma 8. That's about it for your permanent ability score boosts. In the next section, we're going to go ahead and go over are the Tadpole Powers. In this section, I'm going to go ahead and cover Tadpole Powers. I decided to split this up into two categories before using the Astral Touch Tadpole, which will unlock all the other abilities, and definitely after using this Astral Touch Tadpole. Let's go ahead and start with the before. Let's go over the Tadpole Powers before using Astral Touch Tadpole. Favorable beginnings: boosts attack rolls or give you an advantage in dialogue. Very useful, especially attack rolls, because a sharpshooter has that -5 on attack rolls. This will negate some of that or all of it. Charm prevents a foe attacking you for 1 turn. This is really good, so if a foe attacks you, then they don't, then you move back, then you just start lighting them up. Shield thralls make a shield on you or your allies that's 10 hit points. When that shield goes, any foes around the person will get stunned. This is really useful, so they hit you for 10 hit points or something like that, they get stunned, you go back and just start shooting them like crazy. Psionic Backlash: when a foe casts a spell, you do 1d4 damage per caster level. This damage will ramp up, obviously, so spellcaster gets annoying, casts a magic, you get to interrupt them. Good stuff. Drain ability: attack can drain either strength or dexterity or any other things that uses, like for example charisma, intelligence, and such. This is really useful because you'll be using dex, you drain their dexterity, give disadvantage on dexterity rolls and such. This will help you out greatly. Let's get to the next section of this part of the guide. Alright everyone, so you decided to use the Astral Touch Tadpole. Welcome to the dark side of the Force. Oh, wrong game about the Force. Anyways, here we go. Black Hole! OP AoE attack. This is one powerful AoE attack. I used it in game, and let me tell you, it breaks it. Many foes die from this. Fly: gain ability to fly. Just like the fly spell and fly potion, you fly around to a higher ground, you do more damage that way. Repulsor: AoE pushback attack that does damage, so it's like a force push them away. And then of course you could run away from them and just start shooting them again. Free cast: next ability, spells, or anything else is free of charge to use. So you want to use your secret arrows, pop free cast, and after that, then that's it. You get to use it free of charge. Absorb intellect: gobble up a foe's intelligence, which will load their intelligence, of course, by 1, and heal your wounds for 5 turns. This heal, of course, is 1d8 hit points that gets healed, of course, during that duration. Really useful stuff. Use it and abuse it. And that's about it for Tadpole Powers. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and go over is Gear Advice. In this section, I'm going to cover equipment that you definitely get by certain points in the game. The first section will be gear you get by the end of Act 1 before entering the Shadow Curse Lands to start Act 2. Make sure you get all that gear before entering the Shadow Curse Lands. And the other section is by end game, so that's from Act 2 to the point of no return. So make sure you get everything in Act 2 that's on the list, and also anything else before the point of no return, Act 3. We're going to go ahead and start with gear you want to get by the end of Act 1. Here's the helmets and headgear you want to get by the end of Act 1. Shadow of Mesobranzian: gain the Shrouded in Shadows ability, same as the invisibility spell. You move around, anything else that goes bye-bye, lasts for 10 turns. Looted from the Pale Quartz in the Mitochondrial Colony in Act 1. Must help out the Mitochondrial people to have access to the body, unless you have ability to slaughter them all, and then they get an item that's drop off their body. You can enter that, but either way, try to help them out. Here's the alternative. The Haste Helm gains momentum for 3 rounds. That means 3 meters movement speed. Helps out big time. This is a locked chest in the Blighted Village in Act 1. That's that village being conquered by goblins. So let's move on to the next set of equipment. For chest gear, you want the Spire Silk Armor. Gain advantages on Constitution save throws, +1 bonus in stealth checks. Mithara drops this in the Shadow Sanctum in Act 1. Unless you knock her out, then you can steal her armor as well. Now, alternatives are Drow Studded Layer Armor, gives you +1 stealth. Heavy chest near the Festering Cove entrance in the Underdark in Act 2. That's where you get it. There's also another piece of equipment as well, too, in the Underdark somewhere. If you can find anything else similar to that, then go ahead and go for it. Now for gloves, you want the gloves of archery. Gain proficiency in longbow and shortbow. Does +2 range damage. Very nice stuff. So you get this from Nat, the trader that sells this very nice gloves in the Goblin Camp in Act 1. Buy it ASAP before you decide to butcher them. Unless you're siding with the goblins, then still buy it ASAP. Here's alternative. Gloves of Dexterity. Your Dexterity is automatically set to 18, +1 attack. Now I'm getting this only so this way I get the +1 attack and get that Dexterity 18 until I actually level up, then it's totally useless. Now this is at the Githyanki Creche. Now Merchant Jira sells this in Act 1. Buy before attacking if you think you're going to attack her. So let's go ahead and go to another set of Act 1 equipment. Now for boots, you want the Disintegrating Nightwalkers. Can't be in web, entangle, or ensnare. Can't slip on grease or ice. Gain Misty Step as like the spell. You teleport around. True Soar Near drops this in the Grimforge area of the Underdark 2 in Act 1. That's the second Underdark area you go to after you take a nice boat ride. Here's a good alternative. Lightbreaker boots. Once per turn you dash, you gain Wrath for 2 turns. That's +1 damage melee weapons, but we're really using it for athletics, which is good. So this is in the Wogpins in the Shower Sanctum in Act 1. Dropped by Beastmaster Zerk. Honorable mentions the Boots of Speed. You help out a Deep Gnome in Underdark 1, and then you get these nice boots, which will basically, it's like a free dash. So let's go over some more Act 1 gear. For necklaces, you want the Moondrop Pendant. When the wearer drops 50% hit points or less, they will provoke attacks of opportunity. Now, this is really good because if you have less than 50% hit points when you move around away from foes, you don't get a free hit on you. Solve the Slunai Magic Chest puzzle in the Owlbear Cave in Act 1. Make sure you don't have Shadowheart in the cave. You'll lose some approval from her. So yeah, keep her out of that cave. Then solve the puzzle, get this necklace. Here's a good one. You definitely want this one. Amulet of Misty Step. Gain Misty Step like a spell. This is in the Shadow Sanctum at True Soul Gut Quarters in Act 1. If you can figure out how to steal it from True Soul Gut, go ahead and do so. Let's go over the ring, shall we? Crusher Band. Your movement speed increases by 3 meters. Really useful. This way you get to the high ground more often than not. Steal or loot Crusher to get this very nice item in the Goblin Camp in Act 1. So yeah, better get some good stealing gear in order to get it. Unless you're not siding with the goblins, then you can kill Crusher later on. Caustic Band. You deal +2 acid damage to foes. Deirdre's Bone Cloak sells this at the Mitochondria Colony Underdark Act 1. Buy everything from her, from the Bugbear, or anybody else in that place because there's some nice Act 1 stuff. Let's go over the alternative rings. Ring of Absolute Force. Just like the Thunderwave spell, that's 2 to 12 damage. If you absolute brand it, add 1 extra damage to it. Sergeant Drin in the Grimforge area, Underdark in Act 1 has this. You can steal or go ahead and loot his corpse. The Sparks Wall cannot be electrocuted. Electric resistance increase as well. Arcane Tower Basement, Underdark in Act 1. Raid that tower. There's some good stuff there, including this ring. Now, I'm just going to have these weapons there in case you want to use something for that. So let's go over this. Knife of the Undermountain King. The wielder scores a critical hit when rolling a 19. When they roll 2 damage or less, re-roll the dice, take the highest results. Have advantage on attack rolls against lightly or heavily obscure targets when using this blade. This one's not bad at all to have as a stat weapon just to hold. Now, Merchant Jira sells this in the Githyanki Creche in Act 1. So yeah, buy her stuff before killing her. Hunter's Dagger, +1 dagger on hit. The target must make a successful difficult challenge constitution saving throw or become ruptured. Rupture means they bleed out. Roe Moonglow in the Shower Sanctum in Act 1 sells this. That is the Halfling Zent agent. So buy everything from him as well too. He has some hand crossbows if you're lucky. So let's go over the range weapons. I'm going to go ahead only focusing, as you see the note, on hand crossbows. If you cannot find any, then go ahead and look for long or short bows for now as a substitute. Hand crossbow +1 sold by Damien, low rate, and his stock changes per rest at the Druid Grove in Act 1, or Dietrich's Bone Cloak in the Mushroom People Colony in the Underdark Act 1. Also, I think Rose sells this as well too, so definitely go ahead and hit any of these merchants up because you want those. Here's another good one. Fire Stoker Deals additional 1d4 slashing damage to burning targets, so any targets on fire, you do extra damage against them. This is not magically enchanted, but with the Arcane Archer later on, this will become a magical weapon. This is in Underdark 2 in the Grimfort area, in the Underdark part of the zone, with the Hellboars in Act 1. Hint, it's in a chest in that room. You see a treasure chest, Hellboars, kill the Hellboars, loot the sucker up. That's it for gear you want to get by end of Act 1. Let's go over endgame gear. Now, for endgame gear, I decided also put in together Act 2. So make sure if you're in Act 2 at any locations there, grab what is on the list. If not, you might miss out on some good endgame gear. Let's start with the headgear. Mask of Soul Perception, gain +2 bonus to attack rolls, initiative rolls, and perception checks. This is real good because those attack rolls, that means more likely you'll land a hit than miss. Initiative rolls are perfect as well. Gain Detect Thought, like the spell. This is in the Devil Feast shop. You got to steal it upstairs in Act 3 to get it. Here's an alternative, Helldusk Helmet. Infernal Sight, you can see in magical ordinary darkness up to a range of 12 meters. You cannot be blinded as well too. Cannot be critically hit upon. +2 saving throws against spells. Alright, so if you're one of those who likes to use anything like those fog cloud spells or especially darkness, this is the perfect helmet for you. Now, recently I had a poster who used darkness spell to defeat a certain vampire lord. And yeah, let me tell you, that strategy is perfect. Yeah, he did. Anyways, he had Helldusk Helmet on. Yeah, that's going to help you out greatly. Especially if you have darkness arrows too. Now, this will also, I need to mention one thing. Immolating Gaze. Sear and frightens a target with nothing but your Growler. So in other words, yeah, they're scared of you. You deal additional 2d8 fire damage against burning creatures as well too. This is in a locked room in the House of Hope in Act 3. So you go into Act 3, go ahead and get that before leaving, of course, the House of Hope. Very important. Let's move on to the next set of endgame gear. Now for cloaks, yeah, you're going to start getting them at the start of Act 2, so pay attention of any of those I do mention in this section. Shade Slayer Cloak. While hiding, the number you need to roll a critical hit while attacking is reduced by 1. This effect can stack, so you have those posters that drops your critical hit range of rolling the dice. Yeah, this will stack with that. So for example, you had that potion on, or let's say Elixir more like it. Used to be 19 to 20 to get a critical hit, now it's 18 to 20. Now you want to definitely go stealthy if you want to. I like to go invisible from time to time with range builds like this. Helps me out greatly. Sticky Dondo sells this in Lower City Sewers Guild Hall in Act 3. You have to get past the half-orc there. Not too hard to do. Here's a good alternative. Cloak of Protection, +1 armor class, and +1 saving throw. This is sold by Core Master Talite at the last light in Act 2. So if you're in Act 2 at that end, clean her inventory out. You're going to thank me much later on if you pull this off. Now, here's some chest gear, armor of agility. Add your dex modifier to your armor class. Additionally, this armor does not impose disadvantage on stealth ability checks. This will give you saving throws +2. Sold by Gloomy Fenton at the Storm Shore Armory in Act 3. This is a good piece of armor because usually if you wear medium to heavy armor, you start to really lose your dex modifier. Well, guess what? If you have very high dex, it adds to your armor class, helps you out greatly, and it'll be a big boon for you. And let's go over any of the light armor. So you get some of those light armor from Act 1. That's a good substitute as well, because it can carry you that far in some of this light armor, which is great. So let's go to the next section. Let's go over these gloves first. Gloves of Soul Catching. Your unarmed attack deals an additional 1d10 force damage. We're not going to use it for that. So instead, what happens is this. We're going to use it for 2 reasons. This is reason number 1. Once per turn on unarmed hit, you gain 10 hit points. Alternately, you may forego the healing, gain advantage on attack rolls and saving throws until your next turn. So you could pop that instead of the healing with unarmed damage. Another thing I definitely got this for is Constitution +2 up to 20. Gives you a little bit more hit points. This is great. Reward for saving Hope in the House of Hope in Act 3. You help out Hope, she'll pony those up for you. Here's a nice alternative, Poisoner's Gloves. Wherever you deal poison damage, the target needs to do a successful Constitution saving throw or becomes a poison. So if you poison your weapon, doesn't get it the first time, well, with these gloves, you get it the second time. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this. This is in the House of Healing in Act 2, so yeah, make sure you get this sucker. I'm going to go ahead and put an honorable mention. There's gloves out there. If you take out Luke the Strangler, that's much later in Act 3, which is a little bit hard. I didn't mention it, but still look out for those because they'll ignore blunt, piercing, and slashing damage. And that's great with, of course, piercing damage. So let's move on to the next set of endgame gear to collect. Now for boots, I decided to leave the Act 1 boots, the Disintegrating Nightwalkers. Those are really good. I believe there's a second chance to get them if you definitely side, of course, with the Goblins in Act 1. Might be a good chance to get them in Act 2 as well. Now, here's alternative. Helldusk boots cannot be moved by magical or normal means, immune to difficult terrain. So in other words, as you decide to put like a spike growth or something like that down, yeah, you get to move around freely. When you fail a saving throw, you can use your reactions to see it instead. Now, this is real good, so if you mess up once and you hit that reaction, you try again. Now, this will also have ability to teleport you. When you teleport from one area to another, you do 2 to 16 damage. Now, if you're like in a pincer situation, you want to take out a foe with less of those hit points I just mentioned, well, that's a good time to do so, and then shoot up the other one. Now, these boots is in Lord Gortash's room in Act 3, so if you can find a way to get into his room without any hostility for your side with him, that's fine. Otherwise, you probably won't have to kill him most likely to get the key to the chest. So let's go ahead and go over some more in-game gear, shall we, everyone? Now, for necklaces, you want the Amulet of Greater Health. Your Constitution is automatically set to 23. Advantages on Constitution saving throw. So if you have the Poisoner's Gloves, go ahead and get rid of those gloves and look for some other gloves because the Amulet will cover that on the Constitution department. This is in the archives at the House of Hope in Act 3. Get this Amulet. It's very nice. More hit points. Also, along the way, there's some Strength Gloves. Get that too for your characters that uses two-handed weapons or something like that. Here's a good alternative. Surgeon Subjugation Amulet. When scoring a critical hit on a humanoid, the wearer can be paralyzed for 2 turns. So you can hit that option. It's once per long rest. But this is a very powerful amulet. Now, Malice Thrum drops this at the House of Healing in Act 2. In order to get this without really combat, you want to have Shadowheart in your party. She'll convince him to off himself off. And then what happens is you get to loot the body. Yeah, that's right. Good way to get this amulet. So let's go ahead and talk some more in-game gear. Now for rings, I love this one, Killer Sweetheart. When you kill a creature, your next attack roll will be a critical hit. So this will be an automatic critical hit. So this is very good. This is at the self-same trial in the Gauntlet of Shar in Act 2. So your doppelganger will drop this before you get the Umbrella Orb in that trial. Go ahead and loot your, doppelganger's body after you kill the doppelganger corpse because this ring is really useful. Do not leave Act 2 without it. Now, here's another one. I decided to put Ring of Regeneration at the start of combat. You regenerate 1 to 4 hit points. Roland or someone else sells this in Act 3 at the Sorcerer's Sundries. This is a very nice ring to have because you want to start off with some regeneration. If you go in combat after combat, you're taking some damage. Here's good off terms I decided to list. Ring of Free Action. Ignore the effects of difficult terrain. Cannot be paralyzed or restrained. Just like the free action spell. Aja, that is the Strength Potion NPC, sells this in Act 2 in the Moonrise Towers. Play it cool with the cultist there. Get to her shop. Get the Strength Potion for one of your party members. That's not you. Then buy everything from her. She has some great endgame gear. Here's a good one I like. Shifting Corpus Ring, cast Blur Invisibility, just like the spells. Once per long rest, Flaming Fist Marcus drops this at the Last Light Inn in Act 2. So I'm going to go ahead and mention the honorable mention here. There's the Risky Ring as well. So Risky Ring does is gives you +5 on your attack rolls and -5 on your saving throws. So it's sold by Aja, the NPC potion vendor in Act 2 at Moonrise Towers as well. So those are the rings. Let's go over briefly the melee weapons. Now for weapons, get any weapons with stats or skills on it so you can use them, then swap to your ranged weapon. So if it has any clicky on, like for example, gives you a certain thing for X amount of rounds or something like that, well, go ahead and abuse that. And then switch to your ranged weapons, because you're really not going to use your melee weapons at this point, because you're a beast at using ranged weapons, especially those hand crossbows. Let's go over some ranged weapons to end this last section. I'm going to go ahead and read this disclaimer once again. I am focusing on hand crossbows. You cannot get any more. Use the +1s from Act 1 I mentioned. If you're really unlucky in those at this point, then look for a magical longbow or shortbow as a substitute. Now, here's your first main hand crossbow. Hellfire hand crossbow, +2 hand crossbow. Possibly inflict burning when attacking while hiding or invisible. So if you want to ambush your foes, it's a good way to do some extra damage. Scorching Ray, just like the spells, so each ray does 2 to 12 damage. And it ramps up, of course, 6 to 36 total. Dropped by Yerger in the Gauntlet Shard in Act 2. I am not sure if he sells it or another NPC sells it. If you're on, of course, you go on his side. Here's the offhand. This is a hand crossbow +2, basic generic one. Nothing special, anything else except for the magical +2 on it. Inside a wall vault in the office on the second floor of Lady Janet's estate in Act 3. Yeah, you just gotta get through some ghosts. It's your first time, and then just climb up the stairs, and then get in this one office. And after you check the desk, there's a nice wall safe. Break into it. There's some good arrows there as well too. Some anti-mind flare arrows you want. Now here's some backup ones. Near misser. Yeah, that's what it's called. Supposed to be never misser, but you get the point. Plus one hand crossbow. Magi missile like the spell. Recharges on short rest. Sold by Roe Moonglow in Moonrise Towers in Act 1. That is the halfling merchant there for the Zents. Buy it from him, all his inventory, because he sells some good stuff. That is about it for endgame gear. Next up is potions, oils, and elixirs. For this section, I'm going to cover potion, oils, and elixirs. Yes, you could coat your ranged weapons with oils. In other words, you're coating really a arrow or bolt. So anyways, just remember that elixirs, if you use one effect first of all, then you try to use another one, the first effect goes bye-bye. So the first part of this build we're going to cover for this section is the potions. So let's go over that. Let's go over the first type of potion, healing potions. They are a must, because if your divine spellcasters run out of spell slots and such, well, you have to use those to heal. Potion of Haste, gain extra action when you use these, +2 armor class, advantage on dex saving throws, and double movement speed. This is real nice if you want to end some battles quickly. Don't use it with long battles because, yeah, after 2 or 3 rounds you get the negative effects for it. Potion of Flying, same as the fly spell. If you want to get to a higher ground, this is the way to go. You can't find any of those. Potion of Vaulting is a nice substitute. Potion of Invisibility, you cast invisibility like the spell on yourself for 10 rounds. Any type of action, includes moving, breaks it. So what you want to do is definitely drink these up before battle starts, get in a position, and then shoot your foes. So let's move on to elixirs. Now for elixirs, just remember, if you use it once, you keep the effect until long rest, but if you use a second one, the first elixir you use goes bye-bye. Just a friendly reminder. Elixirs of Vigilance, gain +5 bonus to initiative, and cannot be surprised. Use this if you did not get the alert feat at all, exactly like the alert feat, great to have. Elixir of Viciousness, increase your chance to land critical hits. So for example, normally critical hits 20, drinking this elixir will drop that threat rolls from 20 to 19 to 20, so that means more often you do critical hits than not. Elixir of Bloodlust, I love this one personally. Upon killing a foe, you gain 5 hit points and extra bonus action. Great to have and great to abuse as well too. Now, honorable mention is the potion, I should say more like the Elixir of Colossus. What that does is make you bigger, a little bit more strength saves. However, if you're bigger, you get to jump to certain places that other people cannot. So that's the only advantage on that, is I'm going to say. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on to oils. Now for oils, the first one I'm going to cover is the oil accuracy. This is a coat weapon that includes ranged weapons too. Bonus of +2 attack rolls. This will help you out greatly, especially the sharpshooter feat that gives you -5 on attack rolls. Well, that'll negate that down to -3. Very helpful. Wizard Bane oil. Now, when you coat this and you hit your target, this is what the following penalties your target will receive. -3 penalty to spell attack rolls and spell save DC. Disadvantage on saving throws for maintaining concentration for 2 rounds. There's annoying spellcaster. You don't like it healing someone else or concentrating with, like, for example, a buff spell. Well, Wizard Bane oil is the way to go. Hit them with it, then they suffer, and then you could take down the spellcaster. Even the healer as well, too. Now, last but not least, use any and all poisons on your weapons. In this case, ranged weapons works as well too, so definitely want to coat up your hand crossbows. That's about it for potions, oils, and elixirs. Now, next up is the combat demonstration. I'm going to go ahead and go over to Act 1. So my character's just got the level 5. That means things are starting to look up. 2 attacks per round. Around Act 1, you're really just starting to learn how your class works and anything else of the matter too. You also learn the high ground, low ground. Try to get to the high ground if you can. If you cannot get to the high ground at all, everyone, then of course take what you could take. Take out any alarms as well too, especially in this section. And yeah, take advantage of your arcane archer abilities and such, because you get to abuse those. Sometimes you start out the battle by, of course, just taking out a few foes. Eventually, because you took out those few foes, that's less for everybody else to take out. You're the one that starts the fire. Seriously, you're the one that does that. Okay, I missed. Everybody else will be able to get the other 3. So let's go up the. Okay, I can't go up the ladder. So yeah, I accidentally did block it, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to take out more. Let's see here. I think that is good enough. Bye ladder on the other one, but I don't care. There you have it. So basically, that's about it. Learn what you can learn in Act 1. Take advantage of the high ground. And then later on, you get to use those lessons to your advantage in the other acts. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I could definitely finish this up with Lae'zel teleporting to the last target, since she's a Gith Yankee, and take out the final one. And wave goodbye to it. I'm going to go ahead and skip to Act 3. And here we go, everyone. At this point, you have all the tools in the tool chest. You're going to do extra damage in the first round, thanks to, of course, the Gloomstalker Ranger subclass. So yeah, we did a lot of damage. This warg's about to die. There you go. I'm going to try to take out this one. Let's see if I could do that. I'm going to go ahead and try not to use one of my ones I like is, yeah, the action surge. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Let me see if I could just blow them up just to weaken the main one, and the other one just soften them up, so this way my other characters can wreck everything in sight. Okay, that's good enough. So at this point, again, try to get the high ground. If not, that's alright. Another good tactic is go invisible while the other 3 party members distract, and you go up there. Yeah, it sounds like a rogue tactic, but you know what? You're a ranged character. You can take full advantage of putting yourself in position and start shooting things up before your invisibility effects wear off. So I'm going to have Karlach at this time try to be a frontline character. So this way she could, be the distraction. I think I got that. And if your spellcasters can get in online, that's fine as well too. You have a cleric in your party, good idea to buff if you want to. That's just a big if. Yeah, so with the Arcane Archers part of the build, you got so many tools. You got AoE damage, you got piercing, you got secret arrows, and if you're really having trouble with combat, the banishing arrows. Just remember, if you get to level 12, you want to change those arrows out. You got to respec your character, basically. Otherwise, on the Arcane Archer levels, you could do is switch the ones you don't like, or the ones you want to keep, just keep it there. I'm going to try to get to my paladin after I'm figuring out what to do with my cleric. Yeah, I'm a little bit screwed here, so I'm going to have to probably end her turn. But by then, yeah, we should be able to take out all these foes before the second round finishes up. So let's go ahead and just do just that. Or I could just give her something. Let's see here. Yeah, I think this is Oh, Radiance of Dawn. We're not going to do that. No, no, no. So let's end hers. And now the wargs are going to attack Karlach. So there you go. Now this also gives me a perfect setup for my Arcane Archer to do some serious damage. I'm going to have my Paladin in because he's slow, but he does the job. And there you go. There's one down. Let's go ahead and use his other feat. There you go. So sometimes you start the battle by weakening most of your foes and let your other party members finish them off, or you finish them off. Here's some final advice before I do end this build video. Now you're going to start slow until you get to level 5. Then you're going to have your extra attacks. Once you're a Gloomstalker Ranger, then you're going to have that 1d8 extra damage for the first round. Get used to knowing what kind of arcane shots you want. You're going to have one less because you're not a pure Arcane Archer, but that's alright. Take full advantage of that. Take full advantage of some of your ranged spells as well, too. It'll help you out greatly. If you want to, like on boss characters, use Action Surge because you can do a lot of damage against your foes. Make sure you get some, you guessed it, everyone, Hand Crossbows. Reason being is you do a lot of extra damage. You wreck everything in sight, and it'll be very helpful. Try to get advantage of the high ground if you can. If not, just improvise. Don't forget to use arrows because some arrows will help you out big time. There's arrows that'll give you electric damage, which is great against these iron monstrosities. Of course, fire arrows, ice arrows, you name it. Even arrows of darkness as well, too. That'll be helpful. And have fun with this build. It's a very fun and great build to use and abuse. Well, everyone, this is it for my Baldur's Gate 3 Fighter, Archer, and Ranger Gloomstalker build video. This is Lord Fenton signing off. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day or night. And do enjoy the show I'm about to show off. Please subscribe to my channel for more classic and modern Dungeons & Dragons walkthroughs, builds, guides, and more just like this. If you like what you see, then go ahead and pick my suggestion on the upper left-hand corner or YouTube suggestion on the bottom left-hand corner. I'm going to go ahead and relax in this nice chair.